Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Portland cops mourn colleagues' death. The police in this parish of Portland are mourning the loss of one of their members, 25-year-old District Constable Ramar Steele, who on Sunday night became Portland's first fatality from a motor vehicle crash. We are saddened by his passing and pray strength for his family and colleagues. Sergeant Delrose Green from the Portland office of the Police Forum's Communication Unit told reporters on Monday. Steele was traveling towards Buff Bay when, on reaching a section of the roadway in the vicinity of the Church of God of Prophecy, he lost control of the Honda Civic motor car he was driving. The car collided into a utility pole. He was the sole occupant. Steele was caught from the wreckage by members of the Buff Bay Fire Department and taken to the Oneto Bay Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. A member of the Parish Police Resort area team, Steele was also a musician. He played with the police youth choir and, when needed, with the local band. He played the bass at the church he attended, New Testament Assembly, and sometimes offers his service at the wakes of the deceased. Ryland Kerr, his co-worker, is among those left distraught by his death. Steele was well-mannered and humble. We played together at Dead Yards, and we worked together as district constables. It was really shocking when I heard of his passing last night. We are all mourning, and we had counseling sessions this morning with the police chaplain and counselor, he added. We will not relent. The police in Westmoreland feel some level of achievement at the reduction of crime in general across the parish. However, they refuse to temper their efforts as murders remain torn in the side of the residents. It's a pity that we are judged by murders, but all other categories of crime are down, Senior Superintendent of Police SSP Wayne Joseph told reporters. The reduction, he said, is as a result of the hard work and dedication of the police, despite the resource challenges and all the other challenges that exist within the division. We know that murders are the greatest concern to our citizens and to us as well, as we continue to push to ensure that we curtail those criminal activities, said Joseph, who heads the Westmoreland Police Division. According to data from the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF, for the period January 1, 2022 to May 27, 2022, murders in the parish went up by 64.9% when compared with the same period for 2021. However, shootings, rapes, robberies, and break-ins decreased by an average 20.9%, with break-ins having the highest decline in 44.4%. Deputy Superintendent in charge of operations for Westmoreland Police Division, Adrian Hamilton, attributes the increase in murders in large part to lottery scamming, which he said is aiding the importation of illegal high-powered weapons. On the patterns that we're seeing, and this can also speak to why we're seeing so many victims of murders when you compare to last year. It's not that we have more incidents, but we have more victims succumbing, he said. We see where the caliber of firearms that are being used, especially in these murders and shootings, they are rifles that can do great damage. So we're seeing multiple victims because one man with a rifle can inflict great damage to a group of people. We have a number of incidents where there have been multiple victims, and this is another part of what the lottery scamming situation has brought to the fore, the access to these weapons. These are expensive weapons that criminal actors buy, whether through the guns for drug trade or other means of importing them to our port. It has reigned terror in Westmoreland, he added. In response, SSP Joseph said the division will be ramping up road policing, which he told reporters has resulted in the seizure of 19 firearms since the start of the year. The response is a coordinated effort between the local police in Westmoreland and the military and also special operations. We are stepping up our road policing because the guns are traveling along the roadway in motor vehicles, he said. We also do coordinated efforts with the neighboring division St. Elizabeth, Hanover, St. James, in order to intercept these illegal firearms and ammunition that are moving across the border to commit these crimes, Joseph said. His colleague Hamilton agreed, adding that division continues to focus its operations in the 4-station district that are contributing to the majority of the crimes in the parish. We have 10 police stations that make up the division. We have them for proximity policing and for resource management. We have grouped those 10 stations based on proximity and resource allocation into 5 zones. Each zone consists of 2 station areas. However, what we're seeing consistently is that 4 station districts mainly contribute to over 90% of the serious crimes that we are facing, and that is in Savannah Lamar, Wheaton, Greenhill, and Negril, Hamilton stated. He said the division's investigative and intelligence operations will be specifically tailored for those areas in order to combat criminal activities in those areas. Other areas such as Darlington, Betheltown, and Frome, which have seen increase in shootings and murders, will be included in those operations. Joseph noted, though, that since the establishment of the Zones of Special Operations (ZOSO) in sections of downtown Savannah Lamar earlier this year, there have been no murders in those areas. I want to highlight that the Darling Street, Dexter Street area that used to be the main hotspot within the parish, ever since the establishment of the Zones of Special Operations in that area in January, and we are now heading into the 6th month, we have not had one single murder in that area, and it was our main hotspot. The only incident that we have had in that area is one incident of shooting from the start of the ZOZO, Joseph said. Last year, that zone gave us the majority of murders that we had in the parish. It was our main hotspot, so it's a positive from the Zone of Special Operation within the area, he added. Despite this, Hamilton is insisting that there is more work to be done to rid the parish of criminals. When persons are able to rest better, feel safer, then mission accomplished. But we know we have some ways to go into relations to bring things to the level of normalcy that we require. They are persons who are wanted for shooting and murders, and we are going after them. We continue to pursue them relentlessly, he said. We are putting their pictures out there. We are just seeking the information out there, and we want these people to turn themselves into the police because we have cases for them to answer to. We will not relent. We will continue to push at these individuals and employ any means legally necessary. We will not stop, Hamilton vowed. Westmoreland's flood, weary residents left buildings. It's become an almost annual event. Structures in flood-prone areas of Westmoreland become filled with murky flood waters. However, this year, some residents are trying something new. They are raising the base of their homes and business places. What me I go do is lift the building so when rain fall, the water no come inside, and that everybody have to do. All down the road right now, people are lift up them house to prepare for the hurricane season, said Junior Keddo, who has operated an appliance repair shop on Darling Street for more than 20 years. The problem, he said, is the drains. The drains them, when them clean, don't clean properly, so the water don't get to run off properly. The water just come up back and flood we out, and we have to do what we have to do, Keddo told reporters. He has spotted the flood water for years, he said. Usually, he ensures clients' appliances being worked on or placed on high shelves inside his shop, then he closes up and goes home. This year, the lifting of buildings has become a bit of a trend. Keddo neighbor Mark Doctor also plans to elevate both his restaurants on Darling Street and his house. It will be costly. Me have to carry up the floor, and that now go cheap. A bag of cement is for $1,300, said Doctor. The process involves adding blocks and cement to the existing structure. It means first removing all the furniture, then the existing flooring, such as tiles, and adding another layer of concrete and blocks before replacing the tiles and furniture. I'm raising my house as well, even though yesterday the drains up my side were clean, but if them did constantly clean the drain, then would be good, Doctor told reporters. He's particularly concerned about flooding in downtown Savannah Lamar. The water comes from uptown whenever it rains, he said. The feeder drain is from Great George Street, so all the water comes rushing down and comes and block up down here. It's a slope coming down from Great George Street, so all the water comes back down to this side, he told reporters. Residents are not the only one concerned. Councillor Rodolph Otto, Jamaica Labour Party Forum Division, said he is extremely worried about the impact the upcoming hurricane season could have on the area he represents. The land is flat, and he has been trying to ensure the drains remain clear. We did a lot of drain cleaning last year. Some of the major drains were cleaned, but now we have some areas, like 3 Miles River, but and down in George's Plain area, even by from there, where I did some drain cleaning. And I'm trying to get some assistance from Pan Caribbean again, he said. Most of the areas that flood are on the main road, and that's the responsibility of the National Works Agency. So I try to maintain the little ones in my area. I was even out on June 1, trying to look at some of them to get them properly cleaned. But we're hoping for the best, he told reporters. In Matneyland, Councillor Ian Miles, PNP, Little London Division, spoke about long history of extensive flooding that keeps residents on edge throughout the hurricane season. These days, you can't even predict weather pattern anymore because of what's happening with global warming and the climatic conditions, so there's a serious concern, Miles stated. He said although they have received funds to clean drains in preparation for the hurricane season, it was not enough for areas like Matneyland. The geographic location causes most of the problems in Matneyland. We have attended to drains over the years, and the place was still flooded. This year, we have gotten some funds from the council, which is never enough to clean the drains. The way in which Matneyland is situated, it is difficult. We're going to need heavy-duty equipment to do some of the drains. The funding is inadequate, as always for that area. The number of areas that we have, like Paul Island, which also have some flooding, in the Bay Road area, and the Top Road, its funding is just inadequate, he said. He is appealing to the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development to give special attention to Matneyland this year in order to keep flood damage to a minimum. According to Miles, in addition to clogged drains, there are other factors that contribute to the problem seen in Matneyland. We are below sea level, so we also have to be paying specific attention to the ravine when the river meets the sea, because sand will wash from the sea and block the mouth of the river. In that case, when the water comes down, most times it's easily filled, then it overflows its banks, and then it deposits into Matneyland. So there's a combination of factors that we have to be looking into, he told reporters. Miles said even though safety measures being put in place for the hurricane season include the establishment of several emergency shelters, he does not believe they will be fully prepared. There are shelters which will be activated, and so we are prepared. The Red Cross and other agencies are always on board to respond to whatever disasters we may have. But we can never be fully prepared in Matneyland. Sometimes it's just to pray to God, to ask Him not to give us that heavy or consistent downpour. As a leader, every time it rains, my head hurts because of the particular situation that surrounds that area, he said. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.